Mother's Day Proclamation. In 1870, Julia Ward Howe wrote a proclamation. She was a feminist, a suffragette, and an advocate for social justice. She called for an appeal to mothers to spare their sons and the sons of others the great sufferings created by war. She lived the rest of her life traveling the world and sharing this message of peace. See if you can feel her plea and let it move you. Here is the proclamation. Arise then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether our baptism be of water or of tears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands will not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses nor applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We, the women of one country, will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs.
From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with ours. It says, disarm, disarm. The sword is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, nor violence indicate possession.
As men have often forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, let women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of council. Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead. Then let them solemnly take counsel with each other as to the means whereby the great human family can live in peace, each learning after his own time the sacred impress, not of Caesar,
but of God. In the name of womanhood and humanity, I earnestly ask that a General Congress of Women without limit of nationality may be appointed and held at some place deemed most convenient and at the earliest period consistent with its objects, to promote the alliance of the different nationalities, the amicable settlement of international questions, this great and general interests of peace.
Thank you. Good morning again. Geez, I had all my stuff going on and it was muted. So that's the way the end of the year goes. Hey, 2020. Welcome to the Women and Girls Charter for Compassion, celebration of art and activism with the V2020 series, where we have been all year long exploring this Mother's Day proclamation, a Mother's Day of Peace, right? A Mother's Day of Peace proclamation. And today is a culmination of this year's exploration into that beautiful piece of art. And I don't know about all of you, but I have chosen my stand-up desk today, and chills ran through my entire body listening to that video. And I've listened to it numerous times, but it just alit every cell in my body. It is so powerful. And Jo Marie, I thank you so deeply for bringing that to our awareness this year, and that we were able to explore it in so many different avenues. So I welcome you again. The Charter for Compassion is a network of networks. We are made up of 12 different sectors. This year going into, or the next year going into 2021, the Charter is very dedicated to education. They are partnering with the Compassionate Integrity Training Program at Life University in Georgia, and also with C Learning, social emotional learning organizations, so that we will be applying for a very large Kellogg grant to look at systemic racism through the eyes of compassion. And we're super excited about that next year. So the women and girls will be starting a program called PSSN. It's a partnership for a safe and sacred now, looking at the way that we speak to and about women. And we're super excited to share that with you closer to the end of our time here together. So I would like to begin by introducing my beloved colleague, Brisha Kralovic-Logan. And Brisha, one moment, Brisha. Brisha is an artist. She's my friend. She's my colleague. She's an author and advocate for creativity and women. She is a creative life coach and the author of The Spiral of Creativity, Mastering the Art of a Spirited Life, which I just bought last month. And she has also founded the International Women's Festival Northwest, near where I live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This festival is to honor women's accomplishments and highlight issues facing women globally, and the Pebble Rebel Award, which honors women making a positive difference in their community. That is the greatest thing, the Pebble Rebel Award. I love that. Brisha serves as the Southern California representative for the Global Art Project for Peace, and she is the founder of Women's Woven Voices Project, an international art collaboration that empowers women through writing, weaving, and sharing their stories. And you can see some of Brisha's work right behind her. So those are panels woven by women across the world that Brisha has so beautifully knitted together, or woven together as it may be. And this morning, like I said, I'm coming to you from northern Idaho on the Coeur d'Alene land. I'd like to make an acknowledgement of the land that I stand on and that I share with other people in this beautiful Pacific Northwest area. And Brisha, I would like to introduce you and bring you on.
Thank you, Donna, so much. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm here in Santa Barbara, California, on the Chumash people's land. And I just welcome you all. I'm so happy to be gathered in circle with you all for this celebration of art and activism, and to truly create a compassion renaissance, a renewal of a connection to our hearts. So I'd like to invite you all right now to just put your hands on your heart. Just take a moment and feel that beating heart as we arise as women of heart to this moment, to this celebration of compassion. And our hearts are our center of passion, and passion is our fuel. That is the thing within us that gives us the energy and the focus to create our art, to make things happen in the world, to create change, to arise, and to actually come together in a Congress of Women. So I'd like you to just think for a moment about something you're passionate about. What brings you just fulfillment and joy? What is it you love? What do you love to do? What do you love? How do you love to be? Who do you love? And just hold that in your heart right now as fuel for our conversation over the next 2 hours. Great. And as we go along, if you are moved to, I invite you to share what you're passionate about in the chat box so that we can create a sort of a synergy of passionate energy. Today we're celebrating creativity, and every single one of us is a creative being. Creativity is our superpower, yeah? It's being able to imagine something that does not exist and visualize it, claim our creative courage, and then take action to make that happen in the world. That's what we're celebrating today. So a lot of times our visions come through connections, new connections that we make. So as participants, I'd like you to just stay open, For inspiration, I'd like you to listen for any urges or nudges that you get while you're listening to the women who are speaking today. And then just center yourself in that creative place within yourself, so that you feel like when you leave here, we're planting seeds and this is a launching point. So the people who are gathered here to share with you today I'm so honored to be here with them. And there's so much to know about what these women have been putting into the world that I invite you to go to the Charter for Compassion website, the Women and Girls page. You're going to see Joan Marie's beautiful face there. She has a video. And right underneath that, it says, kind of just in small print though, there's a link that says Vision 2020. And you want to click on that. And that's going to take you to the page where the extended bios are for all of these beautiful beings and their websites and their connections. So today I wanted them to really shine. So I'm going to give a brief little intro, but please go there to drink in the amazingness of these people. I'd really love right now to share the visionary for this 2020, Joan Marie. Well, she's going to tell you all in her own words, but she had the vision, and she is an artist. She is an educator. She is an activist. She's a conscious touch educator. And truly, she was inspired by Julia Ward Howe, the Mother's Day Proclamation, and she's organized. She's taken the call and organized a Congress of Women in Sacramento, and so many more things. So I'm going to just turn it over to you, Joan Marie. Thank you so much for being here. Go ahead, it's your turn to shine.
Thank you, Brisha. I am so happy to be here. So what I'd like to do is just ask everyone to take a moment to imagine what it must have been like living as a woman 150 years ago, just after the Civil War. Can you imagine how difficult it must have been to not only be a woman, but to be so courageous and so fearless as Julia Ward Howe had to be, and displaying so much badassery, my new favorite word, but she challenged men about the effects of war. And I believe that the Mother's Day Proclamation is an actual template of action that has moved through time, giving each of us an opportunity to follow. And I encourage each of you to take the time with her writing and her words and think about what she says and what she suggests, and feel that throughout your being, including feeling her healthy, moral outrage. She invited us to create and gather as a Congress of Women and claim our power. This is such an important time right now. First, as women, she knew she had the wisdom to understand that we must come together to listen and to grieve for all that has been lost, to hear each other's sufferings. And then, and only then, will it take us to the deeper bonds of empathy and compassion for that to arise to the forefront, for us to really be able to gather on a much deeper and more meaningful level before we can talk about these greater needs of peace and how we can achieve them. And so this year, 2020, also marks the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which was the right to vote. But it was good that it gave women the right to vote, yet it was wrong and hurtful choices that were made to make that happen. And in this present time, we have a moment and an opportunity to correct that and make it right by it being for all women. And again, Julia Ward Howe understood this 150 years ago and consistently made it a point to state that women of all nationalities must come together and gather. And another quote that she has is, "Women need no longer to be made a party to proceedings which fill the globe with grief and horror. What would happen if we created a critical mass of women and called all genders to say no more? What if we made it a basic human right to rest in peace while alive and not wait to utter those words until after people die? So this is the call. We've gathered today to talk about activism through the arts, and we want you to be on fire with us. And first, we as women are all artists. We are creative forces and express ourselves accordingly. We're always in the process of creating our lives, and our lives in actuality are aspects of our art. We're living art. After being called to this Mother's Day Proclamation journey 10 years ago, this has been with me. And knowing that 2020 would be the 150th anniversary, Spirit has guided me, like Brescia has said, to create the first Sacramento Congress of Women. And I prayed and meditated, and I used the sacred geometry of the fruit of life. And that is 13 circles. It's a configuration. And I deeply believe that this is an accelerating of the process, that we as women are moving back and into the future to integrating the deeper aspects of our divine nature and letting that come forward again and live more fully. So this is a much deeper dive, and I look forward to sharing more of this at another time. But where we're at right now is for me to share some exciting news about what's happening through this activism through the arts. So we in Sacramento, California, which is not only a city in California, but it's the capital. And Laura Hansen and myself are co-founders of Compassionate Capital Region, as well as Compassionate Sacramento. And we're part of Compassionate California. And I'm, of course, part of Compassionate Women and Girls. And all of that is under the International Charter of Compassion. So if you're not a part of that and you're just coming onto this call, please consider being part of it in however works for you. So in the year 2021, for 3 months, August, September, and October, Compassionate Sacramento will host at the Distinguished Crocker Art Museum an exhibit of activism through the arts presented by the Sacramento Congress of Women, demonstrating how when women are given the opportunity to share their ideas for creative change for their communities, great things will become possible. And we will be presenting this through art, through dance, through theater, red tent, spoken word, music, dialogue, and more. I can't tell you how excited I am. The reception for this exhibit will be on the Day of Peace, September 21st, 2021. So 9/21/21. So since the Crocker has us presenting a community event as the city of Sacramento, we also have a greater opportunity as the capital of the state to include how as women we can make a greater impact on our state as well. So we're broadening the awareness that we're addressing issues such as our environment, health and well-being, our sister cities, sacred economy, peace and justice, and more. And one of the things I love about Sacramento is that if you take that name and think of it as us being the city of the sacrament, one of the definitions of the sacrament is an outward expression of an inward grace. I love that. So another person, Laura Sa Pele, who's a dear sister, has also created the second Congress of Women, and she's in Southern California, and hers is called One Global Family Alliance. And we're both looking at how we're making change in our community, our nation, and our world. And so we have to all collectively expand our visions of this. So as a coordinator of the Day of Peace event since 2011, with the focus of making every day a day of peace, what if everywhere we celebrated a day of peace in some way. In Sacramento, we do compassionate conversations once a month, which first started with the brilliance of Faye Love, who'll be speaking later today. And on December 13th at 3 p.m., Laura Saw is showing on peacesundays.org a film to launch 2021, making every Sunday a day of peace. And so what would happen if each of us did things like this? Part of where I've gained my strength and embodiment is through connecting through my art with, and my soul and my being and my mind, with Mary Magdalene. I painted her, and I'd like to share a poem I wrote. And I will be sharing some of my art as a download gift for you that each of you can have on your computers. So I see Mary Magdalene as a living archetype in every woman. And I hope when I share this poem that you'll feel her too. So let's just take a breath. Throughout eternity, she has been given many names: Isis, Aphrodite, Ishtar, Ani, Gaia, Radha, Kanta, Kuan Yin, Freya, and Mary the Magdalene, to name but a few. They each represent, in every culture, the image of an adult woman standing as a being whole within herself, awakened and honoring and celebrating our bodies as the temple, our breath as the prayer, our hearts as the altar, and our passion as our power. So very blessed am I to love and live in such a beautiful temple as the female body, for I am a Magdalene. I have been hated and scorned, revered and adorned, seen both as saint and sinner. I am a dancer, a healer, a lover, a priestess, a crone, a sister, a mother, a friend. I am a woman. I serve both God and goddess simply because I know they are one and the same, and so much more. I just love and bless it all. And honoring this purest union of opposites, this knowing has transformed me into a sacred vessel, filled with this feeling nature of good. My life has become that of a creative warrior, a warrior of the spirit, a warrior for the heart. I now stand and look into the face of my fears, and I shall not falter, for my beloved is within me. It is the very breath that I breathe, guiding me and filling me with courage, faith, fortitude, and gratitude, with just a little bit of attitude, for I am a Magdalene. Thank you.
Oh, Joan, thank you so much. That was wonderful. And that, will that poem also be available for people to?
Sure.
Oh,
Sure, I'd be happy to.
so Joan, I just see the concentric circles. I see that you have done the deep work, you know, the inside work, and then you've just moved out towards your art, and then your community, and as you said, to just expanding circles, and that's so inspiring. I'm gonna move now to introducing our next artist, because she, I think, will also works very much on the inside, you know, to that inside circle, and I want to kind of nurture that more right now. So it's my pleasure to introduce you, Jyoti Saldana, and we're really just getting to know each other. And I've learned that Jyoti founded the Jyoti Creative Wellness, and she's the Create Her, I love that term, of Her Space. She's a transformational coach, she's a spiritual leader, she's an educator, and she's an interdisciplinary artist. And I think that what I'm feeling right now is that it's just perfect, because I know that she uses her art experiences for healing, and that she used it for healing herself, and now is using it in those concentric circles out into the world. So Jyoti, please share.
Thank you so much, Brescia. Thank you, everyone. This is such a beautiful space, and it's such an honor to be amongst so many powerful and amazing women. So thank you. I'm very grateful. Yes, healing, healing in art. You know, I've taken my creative journey and taken it inward and explored the ways in which I could express my story and tell my story and heal from some of the things I've been through art. And that is visual arts, that's creative writing, that's movement. And in doing so, have created space for others to do the same. And so I hold space. I hold space for healing. I hold space for storytelling. I hold space for creative art making, and using that to express ourselves. Not everyone has a voice. Not everyone can put words to their pain. Not everyone knows the words, or has the capacity to speak to it. So in holding these sacred circles and these sharing circles, specifically for women, it's really important for that space to be held. I also am very passionate about holding space for women of color to be able to decolonize what wellness looks like for us, to start to reclaim some of the things that have been taken, that have been violated, and reclaim, and what that reclamation journey looks like, and supporting women of color to reclaim that space within their bodies, within their spirit, within their mind. And yeah, just representing for women of color to see our faces, leading, to see our spirits holding space, to feel that relatability. You know, I can relate. And I do a lot of ancestral work. So I bring in ancestral work. I strongly believe that our ancestors are holding us. They've come this far. We are being held. We are continuing to carry the torch and live their legacy. And we are the next ancestors. So it's really important for me to create that space. And I'd love to share some of my work. I have a video that I'd love to share now, and enjoy. Thank you. Take a deep breath in. Hold it and release. Surrender your breath to spirit, to the divine force of the universe, to the four directions, to the earth, the sky, the water, the fire, to the sun, the moon, the stars, and the cosmos. Surrender your breath. Exhale and take that leap of faith. I give thanks for this purpose within me. I give thanks to spiritual guidance. I give thanks to our ancestors, to their pain and their wisdom, for their support and their constant whispers in our ears, guiding us every step of the way. We are here. We are a force. We are here to make change and shift the vibration into something better, into something better than before. Take this power back, reclaim your space and your voice, and know that you have been divinely equipped with all that you need. You are enough. I am enough.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. You're on mute, Brescia. You're on mute, Brescia.
Thank you. I thought I clicked the thing. I was saying, I just keyed into when you were saying that not everybody can find their voice or knows their words, because that's very meaningful for me. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about this creative process that we all go through. I'm guessing that almost everyone here on this call has had an idea at some point that they've brought into being. It's what we do, right? And I'm guessing that there's some people like myself who have had an idea and have not brought it into being. And myself, I have ideas all of the time that I don't bring into being. And the things that get in our way are oftentimes that inner journey, and it could be that there's not enough resources, but a lot of times it's really our fear, right? Our own limiting self-talk, our own limiting beliefs about ourselves. And sometimes we just have to give ourselves permission. And I thought I would just ask right now for everyone to think for a moment about what they might give themselves permission for. We've been called, and we've been inspired. We've got this amazing arise. But for a moment, just think, is there anything inside of me that might be holding me back? And just while we go on with our program this morning, just see if there's something that you might want to let go of, or maybe give yourself permission for today and moving on forward. So I'd like to introduce someone here who I think has given herself permission to be the most amazing person she can be on the planet. I'm introducing Felicia Faylove Lene. And here is a woman, she just does not hold back. She's an art activist. She's passionate about social, racial, and environmental justice. And her concentric circles powerfully working in her community, and then that's radiating out and out and out from there. Felicia Faylove co-founded Compassionate Arts in Action, and she's the youth director and creative strategist for the National Post for Peace and Justice Project, and so much more. Felicia, I'm just going to give it over to you to share, and I invite people to find out even more about you on the website. But Felicia, thank you for being here with us today.
So I'm gonna just go, I'm gonna stick to script because I have a lot to say. So I created a PowerPoint. I'm trusting that I can share my screen now. So I'm gonna just go ahead and try and go from there. Can you guys see it? Okay. Greetings from the Tonga land. I am sending greetings here from the Tonga land, which is located in the area of the San Gabriel Valley, Los Angeles area, Greater Los Angeles area. And here you're looking at public art that I just recently stumbled on in Zusa by Elaine Strickland. So I just wanted to start off with giving thanks. Thank you. So I am Felicia Faylove Lene, Chief Compassion Officer, Social Justice. And I just want to start with, I started off being a writer and coming from the arts, the performance arts area. And I've had some really interesting life experiences from being paralyzed twice. And so I had to kind of use my art and change how I was going to engage because I didn't know if I was going to have my legs. And so I had a vision to start remembering who I was and how I was going to connect to my art. So I renamed myself Faye Love. So Faye Love is a name affirmation to remind me that I incarnated here with the divine purpose and iron faith to heal through the power of love. Faye means faith in Spanish, and Fe represents iron on the periodic table, the periodic chart. And love is the elixir to strengthen my gifts as a spiritual urban alchemist. So just wanted to bring clarity how Faye Love came to be. I've been doing many projects. One of them is art therapy with refugees. We've been working, and Bracia was there with us on this workshop, where we had a beautiful experience working with the youth. There were over 50 youth in our classroom in our workshop, and we painted on silks. And we asked them to, what do they need to feel empowered, and how to be connected here on this new land. And they gave us many words like empathy and respect. And they painted on silks, and we hung the silks up as a flag, or, you know, in the sense of like a bridge. And then they got to take it home as well. But we displayed it there while it was drying. And it was just a beautiful experience. I want to thank Kira Corser, also my co-founder with the Compassion Arts. She's there, and the co-facilitator and organizer for that event. Thank you, Kira. I've also been working with When Black and Brown Go Green, environmental work. I use art to bring awareness, and hands-on tools to bring awareness to Earth, and just how we can sustain ourselves as a people and as a community. So what you're looking at is soil that comes from compost, and we teach the youth about compost soil, and in the workshops they get the chance to paint on plants. Now, I know you're looking at that plastic and you're thinking, what? I drew attention to that. That was something that was a reason that was there, but I'm saying we can reuse what we have. So multi-purpose. So they already had plastic cups. Let's make them, let's put them into pots and put them together. It's reusable. No single use plastics is what we're talking about. And I explained to them about the difference of, if you don't ban the plastics, at least use them as multi-purpose, no single use plastics. So I just wanted to share that experience. And the age group that we work with, the little hands start out with like 4 and 5 and 6, and what they can retain is amazing. I also want the next aspect of our conversation with Black and Brown Go Green, we work with older youth and talk about environmental justice. And we have a regular call on Thursdays, as Joan Marie talked about. We have compassionate conversations, and our compassionate conversations are youth-led, and their age range is about 17 to 27. And they're bringing in some hot topics around environmental justice, climate migration, and we're just really inspired by the conversation. And this is an original piece of art by Youth Ambassador Alex Saltzman, and he is one of the lead facilitators on the call. And as you can see, he has a young lady wearing a mask, and she's completely aware of why she's wearing a mask. And on top of that, the social impacts of what's going on with Black Lives Matter. And so we have to ask, does my life matter? With the environmental injustices and with the social injustices, which brings me to my next slide. In support of Black Lives Matter. It's really something that I'm very passionate about. I've started a conversation back in 2016 with the local cops here, and that has moved me to go travel across the world, in India. We talked about this in Toronto, where I pretty much interacted with everyone on this call. And also in Minnesota, we had conversations with the youth at South High. You can find out more about this in the video from that on our website. But this is a This is taken from Compassionate Cops community from the greater Los Angeles coming together with artists to support Black lives back in 2016. It is not very popular to have this conversation. And I want to give a special thanks to Compassionate California, the Scientology, and Pose for Peace and Justice for allowing this to happen and everyone feeling so embraced and safe in that space. Thank you so much. And what we have been doing currently since the summer is that we've been painting murals, and the campaign is let Dina paint Dina peaceful. These are local murals. One you see is actually at the La Pintoresca library, and I'll go more into that later. But this was an act of civil disobedience. And what that means is that I'm using the art to put messages on the wall. And I didn't ask for permission, but I saw the need. And then as the message was up there, I got the support of the city who love what we were doing. And we also, if you see another image over there, our local Black Lives Matter organizers, Jasmine Abdullah Richards, and we put up a statement in honor of her on a racist property of this guy. Yes, he's racist. Is on Facebook. He went on a rant talking about how he did not want Black Lives Matter, anything Black Lives Matter around his area and around his property. Yet his business was in a predominantly Black and Latino area, and so the constituents and the neighbors band together, and when he erased this mural, it really brought home the fact that he no longer needed to be there. So he got the mural painted over, and his business is no longer there. So as an act of civil disobedience and protest, we have supported justice in our community. Another mural that you see is featured at the NAACP office here in Pasadena. The Power Fist lead artist is Adonia, and she's there with some of the community. What we did was break up the community and sent them to different locations that day for Paint Dina Peaceful. We organized that. So that location was at the office of the president of the NAACP local chapter. And the Black Lives Matter mural that you see was also a project. Lead artist is Heather Bonds. We all worked together. We designed the mural, and then there's a lead. So on different locations, everybody's at different locations being the lead artist. And so then, yeah, this is what we've been doing. So we've put on to 3 Paint Dina Peaceful, and there's a couple more that's in the process of being organized now. So that's that. I'm really excited about that project. It's taken off. And Paint Dina, it brings in Altadena, Pasadena, and South Pasadena, which is uniting an area that's not typically united in this part of the region right over here. So when I say we received a lot of support, look at the diversity in that group. And they're right in the center. I'm going to just zoom in, is our Vice Mayor, Tyrone Hampton. He came out, spoke to our group as we were engaged in an act of civil disobedience, and said he will fight to keep this mural up. And that mural talks about Black Lives Matter, but not only that, the inventions by Black lives. So you see the traffic light, you see the refrigerator, truck, and there's a lot to that. So I'm going to zoom back out. I went one step ahead of myself. Let me, okay, I'll play the video one second. One second. I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of technical. Let me just go and stop the share for 1 second. Give me a second to go back into it. Were any questions so far? That's what teachers do, right? Is there any questions so far?
Just go ahead and take what you need. Take a moment to look at whatever you need.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back now. I am
we'll let it all soak in. It's pretty amazing, all that you've shared. So
this is the last slide. So in the spirit of compassion, community, and creativity, I just simply want to say, I love making art that matters. I love using art to bring awareness to support social and environmental justice. I love doing all these things while still remaining compassionate. And if you want to learn more about what's going on or our work, follow me at Compassionate Arts, and you could check out our website, compassionatearts.net. And now I'm going to click on the video. So here we're at La Pinterest Park. Yeah, I am. I'm clicking on the. Where we have been doing the work here, and our goal is to bring the pride of our ancestors. We're working on this mural today, Black Lives Matter, but we have to remember it's always matters. We're descendants of race. We come together in community. I am because you are. I'm complete. Thank you.
Faye, I love you. Thank you so much. The power that you are giving to, youth, from 4 years old on up, using art to help them find their voice, and the work that you're doing in your community is so inspiring. Thank you so much. Well.
It was a pleasure to be in this space with such amazing women, and I just want to thank you guys for inviting me to this panel.
And I also want to say that you brought up, when you said, hey, are there any questions? I just wanted to remind everybody that when we're complete with our sharing, then there's an open community connection time when people can ask you questions. And I'm thinking that there's going to be people who are going to want to connect and ask questions to each and every one of you. So the next artist that I want to share, Catherine Jostin. Catherine, I've known for about 25 years or so because I participated in the global project that she is the founder of, the Global Art Project for Peace. And what can I say? Talk about your concentric circles where, the powerful work that Faye Love is doing in her community. Each one of you, it's just expanding out and out and out. And Catherine's project, I know, began with an urge and a call, and is currently impacting people in 95 countries on 7 continents. So with that, I'm just going to say, Catherine, would you share what you're doing with the Global Art Project with us, and we'll go from there.
I would love to. Thank you, Brisha, and I'm honored that you included me in this. I just want to let everyone know that I'm coming to you from the beautiful Sonoran Desert in Tucson, Arizona. So the mission of the Global Art Project is to joyously create a culture of peace through art. It celebrates diversity and multiculturalism while expressing the idea we are all one. The Global Art Project is an international art exchange for peace that happens every 2 years. There have been 160,000 participants in 95 countries on all 7 continents, and it was nominated for a UNESCO prize. We now have about 200 regional coordinators around the world who translate the information and help to get it out to people in their area. How it works? Well, anyone throughout the world who wants to participate registers by sending us their name and address. We match them with a participant in another location, and as I said, anyone anywhere can participate, but people can participate as an individual or as part of a group. And we match individuals to individuals and groups to groups. And then each participant creates a work of art expressing their personal vision of global peace and goodwill. For the first 3 weeks of April, we encourage people to share their art with their local community in some way. And then the last week of April, each participant exchanges their art with a personal group they were matched with, so that simultaneously around the world, all of these visions of global unity are encircling the earth. And as a final process, many people in many communities have exhibitions of the art that they've received in their community, so that people in their local community can see these diverse visions of peace from around the world. And we do encourage people to send us photos of the art they created and of the people who came together to create the art. And we have literally thousands of these inspiring images of not only the images of peace, but the people around the world who came together to see the art. And we have a wonderful website. After each exchange, we put up a selection of images, hundreds of images from each exchange on our website. And I do know that teachers around the world often use our website as a teaching tool for their students. As I said, anyone, anywhere can participate. And I wasn't thinking of schools when I started the project, but it's really caught on in schools because it's a great way for teachers to teach not only art, but to have a meaning behind it and to have an international exchange. So, and we've had schools all the way from nursery schools and kindergartens through entire graduate programs. And actually some universities have created courses specifically for their students to participate in the Global Art Project and to get the community involved. And it can be any art form that can be sent from one group or individual to another. So it can be audio tapes of original music, videotapes of performances, 2D work, literary work. There's so many different examples of what can be created. Actually, I can give you a few examples of some of the artwork. We don't have much time, but I'll give you a few examples of some of the artwork. Let's see. So as I said, the mission of the project is to joyously create a culture of peace through art. And people are encouraged, as you see these two women from Morocco here, people are encouraged to not only create the artwork, but also to send a photo of themselves and a personal note to the person who they were matched with. And this is, I love this image. It was created by an 8-year-old girl here in Tucson. And it says, "We are all different, we are together." And I love this so much because it's not just human beings that are together, but all the beings that we share the earth with. And not only physical beings, but I see there's an angel here and the sun and the moon and animals and plants. And yeah, I just love this image.
Catherine, are you screen sharing? Because I'm not seeing the image.
Oh.
Is there one more thing you needed to press?
Okay, let me get out of here. And
while you're figuring that out, can I just give a little testimony, because having participated while you do that?
But where is, I mean, where down at the bottom, where can I press screen share?
At the bottom of your Zoom window, there's a bar that has an option to mute, start video. Share your screen is a green button. Do you see that?
Gotcha.
And then you can select which window you want to share.
Gotcha. Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go. We see it. Perfect.
Grisha, did you want to go on, or should I?
I give you a minute to do what you need. No, we can see your images now.
Yeah, but we want to see that one picture you were specifically talking about.
We want to see the one with the child.
Yes.
We want to see them all. Show them all.
This was the mission of the globe. Oh, I'm sorry you weren't seeing this when I was had my arrow on these. These were the young women from Morocco who this was their first letter they had ever written in English, and they sent there with their photo. But this is a wonderful image. We are all different, we are together. And I so love this image because, as I said, it's plants and all beings that we share the earth. And this just an example, I received such touching letters from people around the world. And this young girl from Romania sent me this photograph of herself with her art. And oh, here's my glasses. And she titled her artwork, "The Planet in Our Eyes. The color of our skin is different, but we all see the world, the same world, united through peace." And she sent a letter to me that says, "The Global Art Project is the most wonderful thing I ever did. It is so exciting to finally know your match and share your own vision about global peace with that person. It's a unique chance for us to know new people and to send good thoughts for making the world the best place to live. The thought of making a gift and working especially for someone you don't know gives you a very big satisfaction. My painting represents a child, the symbol of the purity which hopes for a united world and for a better one. It is the embodiment of all children of the world with all kinds of skin color and color of their eyes and hair. I am one of those children, and like them, I wish people would all be united through love and peace. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. With love and peace, Andra from Romania."
Wow.
So, and as I said, there have been literally thousands of school children and hundreds of schools around the world that have participated. This is in Delhi, India, and this is in Shenzhen, China. In China, we usually have about 53 schools throughout China and Inner Mongolia that participate. And our two regional coordinators are in China. One of them is the co-chair of the Fine Art and Design Department at Beijing University in Beijing. They held a 2-day workshop to introduce the teachers and students to the Global Art Project. And 200 teachers and students from throughout China came to the workshop. And then after the workshop, these 200 went back to their schools and introduced the Global Art Project in their schools. But as I said, it's not just children that participate. We have just as many groups of adults that participate too. This was an image created by an adult for the 2020 exchange. And many of the images for the 2020 exchange dealt with healing, of course, because of the coronavirus. You know what, I think I'm going to switch now because whenever I'll come back to that image, but whenever I finish telling people about the Global Art Project, the first question people ask me is, how did you start the project? And actually it came about, and when I was in my early 20s in the 1970s, I had a really intense out-of-body experience. And I was up really late one night contemplating the big question, who am I? When I suddenly heard a really shrill ringing in my ear. And it was more intense than a normal ringing. And I knew something strange was about to happen. So I went into the bedroom and laid down. And as soon as I did, I found myself just speeding through, well, I started going down into the swirling vortex of energy. And I had such terror because I knew I was leaving this reality, this dimension, and I feared that I wouldn't be able to come back. But my fear brought me out of it. And I was so angry at myself. And I said, well, if this ever happens again, you know, you'd better go with it. So sure enough, it happened the next night. And the next night, it was so terrifying that I came out of it. But the third time it happened, I was able to control my fear enough to go down into the swirling vortex of energy. Maybe I'll put up this image that I have. And so I was going, and it was more intense than anything I had ever felt before, going down into the swirling vortex of energy. And I suddenly gave a mental call for help. And as I did, I found myself speeding through space with stars, planets, galaxies rushing past me. And eventually I stopped, and a group of symbols slowly started floating by, and then another group of symbols floated by. When I came out of this experience, I had a lot of knowings on many different levels concerning time, space, and energy. And I knew that, I always knew that there was no death, but even on a cellular level, I was aware of this. And it also, I knew that we were all one, excuse me, I have to get a drink of water. I knew that we were all one energy vibrating together. And I knew that I wanted to continue having these experiences and have a form to put them in. So I already had a degree in English, but I went back to school and got another 4-year degree, got a BFA in art and then an MFA. And immediately when we were allowed to do our own art, this body of work called Origins started coming out of me. And actually this is from my website, and Origins is a very, very large body of work.
Catherine, we're not seeing Origins, so
Oh,
we'd love to see
I have to do the screen share again. Okay, where is that? There.
Screen at the bottom, but then you'll have to pick.
You may have to stop sharing the screen you are now.
Oh, close that.
Oh, so all that time I was talking, you weren't seeing the image that I had up. Okay.
You can either share a window or you can share your entire desktop, which would show everything.
Oh, now, okay. Share screen. Okay, I accidentally got out of my, okay, I have to go back into my. Are you seeing that?
No.
Okay, let's do this again. Okay, share screen, got it. And are you seeing it?
No.
Oh my.
So maybe, why don't you just finish telling us about your experience, and then we'll have people, or maybe what we could do is while we're doing something else, you can try to find it and we'll pop it up afterwards.
Okay, I have it up, but
Okay.
We're not seeing it.
So I have to get out of it, go to share screen, and then go to, wow, this was working so beautifully. Okay, well.
Hey, this is a opportunity for discovery.
So, okay, I have my website up. So how can I go to screen share, and maybe if I make that small and then go to, no, that's not going to work.
Well, I'm going to suggest that let's just go ahead and share it later.
Okay.
It's so incredible, and I want people to see it. But what
I was so excited because I thought I had this all worked out. It was so exciting. But okay.
Well, here we go. We're seeing something from the Global Art Project now.
Wow, how did that happen? I want to get over to, we can go over to my website from here. Gee, you know, this was so.
Catherine, I'm sharing from my screen. I'm sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute myself after a year on Zoom.
So click.
So can I click on things for you?
Click over here. Oh, click www.catherinejocelyn.com. No, down under my name. Okay, you're.
Down under her name where, no, no, not the Global Art Project, her act.
Oh.
There, yes, click on that.
We'll find it. Ease and grace.
This is just not. And then, okay, this is, because I can't, click under origins,
Okay, yeah, that's all right.
gallery thumbnails.
Okay. We can do it this way.
Okay, here we are, and I can't move around. So you have to,
Yep, just direct me.
okay, you can just scroll down, you can hit them, you know, at this point.
So this is an installation, right, Catherine?
Okay, it's a very large installation of art called Origins that involves my poetry, painting, and sculpture that all works together as a whole. And it's saying three main things. We are all one, there is no death, we are not alone. And it's the images, you'll have to click on the thumbnails to make them come up. If you click on like the, oh man. Yeah, you can just click and go through. Anyway. So, and it involves poetry, painting, and sculpture. So when you stand in the museum space, you are surrounded by the artwork, and it's very multidimensional. So it's really hard to see even, you know, by this, because they're very, very large works of art, 84 by 70. And they're to the scale of the human body. So each piece has a great deal of presence. And it, but after doing this body of work for 12 years, it felt like the ideas were very theoretical and philosophical, and it felt like it was then time to do something to make it real in the world. And so that's when I received the idea for the Global Art Project. And at the time, you know, it was 1991, and it took 2 years to hone the idea down so that it was simple enough that anyone anywhere could participate, and yet profound enough that it expressed the idea, we are all one. We can just, on this particular,
Go ahead, Catherine, what would you like me to do?
you can just get out of this. I think that would be the best thing to do at this point. So, and anyone can go to my website and see that. I was so excited last night that I figured out how to do that. But so anyway, when I started the Global Art Project, I had no money, I had no contacts, I just had this idea, and I knew it could work. And so I stopped teaching because I thought, well, surely I'll get a grant because this is such a great idea. But all the grants I applied for was like, this is too grandiose. No one could possibly do something like this, do something more realistic. So I borrowed $1,500 from my parents to print banners and brochures because it's such an ethereal idea. It takes something tangible to make it real. And I went to the downtown Tucson Public Library, and there were now, mind you, there was no internet at the time. This is 1991, you know. So I went to the downtown Tucson Public Library, and there were reference books of all the news media throughout the world. And I wrote up a press release on my typewriter, and I sent it to English language newspapers, with the largest circulation in major cities throughout the world, and not knowing what would happen. And I started receiving letters from artists, and it was it was published in the Bangkok Post and in Oslo, Norway. And I also sent a press release to Associated Press and United Press International, which you could do back then because there was no internet. And so for the first exchange, there were 3,600 people in 19 countries. And I was only going to do it once because it was so emotionally traumatic and financially devastating. But I started receiving letters from people saying, well, you've got to do this again. And when you do, I want to help spread the word in my area. So it's become a biannual event happening every 2 years. And As I said, we now have about 200 regional coordinators around the world. I'm just going to end because by, oh, this better work. Taking you to, oh man, this is so. Okay, well, there is a poem that I wanted to share with you that is on every brochure that that I have put out since I started the project, which was over 25 years ago. And the words on the brochure are, "It is a time for joining together things which we have taken apart. Integration, a blending of energies which have too long been divided. A cloth that has not been a cloth, but many separate threads, is now being woven together by the hands of artisans and creative personalities who have an understanding of the earth as a unified organism. We are not separate, we are not alone. It is a time of great coming together, a time of great celebration of our love for ourselves and the land which nourishes us. It is a labor of joy with hands united. Our breaths merge with that of earth energies, which merge with that of cosmic energies. Greater cooperation and understanding of the laws of whole systems can be shared through ones such as yourselves, who are open to the beauty of the universe and your place in it. It is a joy to be of service in this endeavor." So thank you. And thank you, Brisha, for inviting me to join you. And I'm sorry, all the technical glitches.
Hey, we're all just working it out as we go along. Catherine, you've been so inspiring to me through my life, and knowing what you did with your project. I'm just going to take a little moment to share my journey. Just knowing that you heard a call, and I love that you shared. This wasn't necessarily easy. It wasn't, you had to find the finances, you had to overcome obstacles, and the tying into what I'm passionate about. I've always been passionate about creating art that's about empowerment and about supporting women and women's voices. And a couple of years ago, when I was putting on a conference for women, the subject of sexual abuse came up. And it just struck me so hard at that moment that what I wanted my art to be about was about supporting women to be, the most powerful voice, their vibrancy, their just the poem that Joan Marie read. I wanted every woman to feel like she could be the embodiment of that. And yet still women around the world face gender violence. And so I knew at the moment that I was at that conference that I wanted to do something, and I wanted to do something big. And you had sort of lit my way in that you just did it. You just said, okay, I'm going to have this have a global impact. So I started the Women's Woven Voices Project. And what you see behind me is the tapestry. And you're seeing individual woven story cloths. The project invites women to take self-reflection on who they are. And I invite people to write as a way of healing and reframing and just claiming their voice. And then I ask them to weave a story cloth. And it can be, they can weave it any way that they want. Catherine, yours is right behind me. And it's just something that represents them in whatever way they want to be represented, and then share their stories. And the process is designed to have really impact in two ways. One is on participants, by just reflecting on what their successes have been, what their challenges have been, what their strengths are, what makes them a whole person, what gives them joy, who supports them. It just gives them an opportunity to really kind of frame that. And then the actual weaving, the actual holding the yarn in your hand and doing this meditative process helps us to key into sort of our intuitive self, our inner healer and our inner wisdom. And I find that women give me feedback that they have many different insights, a different perspective on their life. And all of this to promote mutual respect, open communication, creativity, courage, resilience, healing, and compassion in the face of sexual abuse, gender violence, human trafficking, the kinds of things that women are facing in the world. So trying to promote the compassionate action. But I feel as though we each need to sort of start with our own story. So I'm just going to quickly share that one of the first participants was an 86-year-old woman. And she had been in a marriage where her husband just felt it was his duty to keep her in line by smacking her on the back of the head, whatever he felt like she wasn't doing, you know, whatever he thought she should be doing. And she was already in her 80s, right? So this is a woman who's lived her life. She's had children. She's contributed in many ways. And it took a long time for her to realize that she needed to get out of that relationship. So she participated in the project. She wove her story cloth. And she said to me, you know, when I finished weaving, while I was weaving, I was thinking about all the different ups and downs in my life. And certainly every one of these story cloths represents, you know, so much joy and so much challenge and so much transition all mixed together. So she said, so I really thought about all of that. So when I finished weaving, I thought to myself, I'm a strong woman. And she said, Brescia, I have never said those words out loud before. So that made me very, very happy and grateful that I was able to offer this opportunity for women to reflect on their own strength. And then it's also an invitation for them to take action, you know, on that. The tapestry that you see behind me, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This is 3 panels of 10 panels that have been woven so far. Over 230 women have taken the time to reflect, to weave their story cloth, to send it to me, and I stitch it together so that we can have this beautiful piece of artwork that I think represents the diversity and the beauty and the power of women united in community. And I put a red fringe on the bottom of 3 out of every 4 story cloths to represent those issues that we still really need to bring compassion to, that are the disrespect and the abuse that women experience. So we can find our voice to put our power towards mutual respect and compassion in the world. So I just want to take just a quick second to just talk about the process. So you can also go to the website, womenswovenvoices.com, and learn more about the project. But just about our own inner process, I think it's really important that we do things we do look at ourselves and we look at our strengths, so that when we are ready to make art and be an art activist, that we're coming from our strengths, from our passion, that we take time to listen to our inner voice and our intuition, that we focus our energy. And then I had mentioned earlier, then I think it's our self-talk. So I had mentioned, and I haven't had a chance to look at the chat box, that, you know, we sometimes need to give ourselves permission to either let go of certain limiting thoughts or to boldly go where we were afraid to go before, where our fear stopped us, Catherine. And I just wanted to share this one little gem. So years ago, I encountered a psychiatrist, I believe he is. His name's Dr. Daniel Amgen. And he had this little phrase called turning your ants into pets. And ants represents automatic negative thoughts, and pets represents positive, energizing thoughts. And I just feel that, you know, today we're talking about art, we're talking about activism, we're rising, we're hopefully all gonna go out from here inspired to take action. And I just want you to know that as soon as you take a step forward, right? Those automatic negative thoughts are something that every person experiences, you know, just that self-doubt and those limits. And so I just encourage you to take those automatic thoughts. For example, the classic one that comes up for me all the time is, I'm just too old for this, you know? So I think, oh, I'm gonna add on one more thing. And I just think, oh no, I'm just like too old. And then I turn that into the positive, energizing thought. I am just right here, right now. I have all the energy that I need. I'm being, you know, divinely led. So, so I just wanted to share that little gem before we go on to hearing about the last of the artists to be represented here. So Niti, and I want to say her name correctly, Hemanat Majethia. She is a student and she isn't present here physically, but we are representing her today with her poetry. She's a 23-year-old writer, editor, and spoken word artist. She's originally from Mumbai. She's currently studying at the University of Austin, and this is exam week, so she wasn't able to physically be with us. But Brenda Gustin is going to share some of her poetry with us. Brenda, are you there? Yeah. And here we go. Thank you. Her book from the book, The Battle Cry.
We touch, but don't feel. We talk, but don't connect. We hear, but don't listen. We inhale, but don't truly breathe. Our souls are in cages waiting to be set free. Your heart, your soul, your calling, these are the music. These are the songs. Everything else is just background noise. I am a world of chaos and colors, strength and vulnerability, thorns and roses. And those who are not afraid of my noise will find music in the dusty corners of my soul. And those who are not perturbed by my shadows will find a river of light in my home. And those who wander my inner forest and are not ashamed of the truth will find a release. Exotic poetry in her veins, the electricity of the night sky in her eyes, a roaring thunderstorm in every heartbeat, the adventures of Pandora in her poems. Don't tell me some women aren't as beautiful as the others. While beauty is just a cloud, the strength within her is the entire sky. What is the ocean without ripples and lines? What is the skin without wrinkles that are the handwriting of time? In her lips, you taste every sunset. In her eyes breathes a dark fire. Her heart scales the depths of an entire universe, and her gorgeous limbs are a bewitching tale. Take her as she is, or leave her if you must. Open your heart and you will see the art, even in her rust. For she is more than an identity. She is more than a name. She is all the things within her that she never wished to tame. The art is a true force of nature, of movement, of feeling, of being. We are all artists in the silence we share with a loved one, in the simple, unexpected acts of kindness, in the way we put foot after foot forward, even when simply breathing is a struggle. We are all warriors, in the way we annihilate our inner demons with the music of our fearless angels. We are all pieces of the universe come to life through the stories we tell, the hearts we awaken, the joy we spread. This is the rawest type of prayer, the realest form of strength. Kindness, gentleness, tenderness. This will be our greatest revolution yet. How do you realize that you've found your passion? When something brings your soul to its most natural state, when something quiet simply connects inside, it fills a void. It has its own life, its own tide. It's like holding a living, breathing form of art within you. It sets you free and yet caves you in by enchanting you. It reveals to you parts of yourself that you didn't even know could exist. That is passion. Passion is a flame so surreal that you don't even mind the heat, as long as you can burn and swallow the entire world with its light. Look within yourself. You are a teeming story that intoxicates everything it touches. The words of Niti Mahathir, spoken from the land of the Miwok tribe on the south side of the American River in Sacramento, California.
Thank you, Brenda. Wow, the gems. Well, moving from that, I just want to reintroduce Joan Marie. She's going to share further with us today. And I'm just going to pass it on to you, Joan Marie.
Well, thank you. Well, we've run out of time, and so I'm going to just really edit what I was going to say. But I have a video that has my art, and we can
Excuse me, Joan.
We have time.
We have time. Please go ahead.
Just share everything, and then we'll whatever time's left, we'll have for community connection.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when I had spoken earlier, it was more about, as Brisha had talked about, that we had an outward expression and action. And what I wanted to share now was more of the deeper inward call that has brought us and called us here today. And I like to think of it as stepping inside the red tent. And what I'd like to share are the 4 pillars inside the red tent. And one of them is the need to commune. As women, we need a safe place to gather and deepen our sisterhood, and to undulate, to dance, and to move our bodies, to experience our divine feeling nature through movement, and to nourish, a time for us to nurture, to share, and to celebrate and cherish our hearts and our lives. And truth-telling, time for us to be fearlessly honest, vulnerable, brave, forgiving, and true. And that takes us to being and embodying an awakened one. So we can gather and call forth a new, compassionate renaissance. A renaissance is a time of great awakening, beauty, change, growth, and awareness in consciousness. And by adding the element of compassion, we bring an understanding and maturation. Compassionate Women and Girls and V2020 will share more of all of these elements on calls to come, and I hope you join us. And through this journey, one of the things that feels really important to me is in the United States, we have a constitution that gives us the right to pursue happiness. But what that I think has done is put us on a hamster wheel of consumerism and pursuing and not owning and knowing our happiness and what makes us happy. And what would happen if we choose individually to claim that and know it within ourselves. And I believe as women, it's time for us to discover, to celebrate, and own our pleasure, our joy. We are wired to be ecstatic beings. We've come this far through so much pain and suffering that is not our birthright. We need to claim our birthright of joy. We need to consider the opportunity of us being sacred gardeners, that we are the gardener, the garden, and the seeds that we plant. And so we need to ask, how does our garden grow? I have a poem that I wanted to share that I had written for Raise the Vibration in February of 2020. It just seems like an eternity ago. But when I'm done, Donna is going to bring it right into the video, and it's just a short 3-minute video, but it has my art, and it's an invitation to enter into the Gaian mind through our sacred soma. Soma is the body. And if we could just take a moment to consciously breathe as one in unity together and relaxing into our space of everything that everyone has shared, and letting our tongues thicken and soften and rest along the upper back palate of our mouths, that creates, just as we were as infants, a place, a way of being of peace and tranquility and serenity. So, and just let your body feel. We as women were born this day. We come from that which the stars are made of. This eternal flame can never be extinguished, although it has been dimmed throughout time. Each of us have been secretly and defiantly reigniting this blaze. We are all part of this collective destiny that occurs only when we see it and claim it in this present moment, for this is all we really have. We who step forth are filled with passion and soul, made of the integrity and strength of roots that go down and deep from the belly of our Mother Earth, and deeper still into and from her womb, born anew, holy, holy, washed clean by sacred midwives and sisters who have witnessed these red tent births, returning each of us to our true nature. Baptized with the cleansing forces and waves of our oceans and rivers and streams, the saltiest of tears, reminders of where we have come, giving us the courage to say, I am, from the mountains and peaks and valleys, the trees and the flowers. I am the orchards that ripen and bear the most luscious and juiciest of fruits which nourish you. I am the bees who vibrate with mirth, making a liquid golden honey that at times may slide slowly down our thighs. I am the thunder that rumbles and rolls, the staccato lightning bolts like the highest of heels that penetrate and pierce the senses. I am lit from the ignited flames of a smoldering fire of desire that lovers rest their heads and satiated bodies by. We are the goddesses, the gatekeepers. We are the ones who now tend to our eternal breath, this temple within where bliss resides. We are waiting for every one of you. Step forth, be who you are truly destined to be. We want and we need you here by our sides, protecting each other from the brutality that has been made way too commonplace. Watch over us so we may live as we are meant to live, as beings of love, creative and wild and free, unencumbered by governments of irrelevant agencies. We have freed ourselves from the shackles of mental slavery for the love and the sake of our children and our children's children. Will you join us? We are right here to welcome you home. We await and we are ready to welcome you home. Thank you.
Joan, thank you. That is so beautiful. I'm going to have Mimi bring your video up now, please, and thank you.
Allow the awareness of your breath to slow and deepen. Open and allow your heart to expand into the Gaian mind, a place where the cosmos reside in form, where symbols take shape and guide each of us into expanded states of consciousness, where nature is our nature, and a knowing of how we are deeply connected with the eternal, beyond death and before birth. Feel this essence through the grace and the ease of your breath. Cultivate your sacred soma, your own access to the nectar of the gods, allowing your tongue to thicken and soften and rest deep in the back of the throat, massaging your upper back palate. Feel how this changes your state of being. The triquetra in Latin means three-cornered. It has been an ancient symbol in Celtic, Christian, and pagan cultures. Each of the 3 points represent respectively the 3 planes of existence: physical, mental, and spiritual, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, and the threefold aspect of the goddess, Virgin, Mother, and Crone. Consider NLP's 3 perceptual positions, self, other, and observer, coming together as a 4th representation, the unity of many in one. This symbol of the goddess dates back to ancient Egypt around 4000 BC. It represents life, death, rebirth, creativity, and transformation. Notice how this all comes into form through the Disa Uniflora. Orchids are considered the most evolved plant species, where the ancients connected with nature in a way that we are just beginning to understand. In honor of our past and those who have come before us, and in honor of our future and all those who shall come after us, let us move consciously into the power of this present moment, standing on hallowed ground where only the energy of love resides. We now are able to truly breathe as one.
Wow.
Thank you, Joan, so much. Donna, I'm going to turn it up to you, over to you to extend future invitations, and then we'll open it up to our community connection. Thank you, Donna.
Beautiful. Joan, did you have any finishing words? That was such, it's the second or third time I've listened and watched that video. And again, from the beginning of this event to the end, my body has been in chills. And I'm just so pleased and grateful for all of you, for Catherine and Faye, and for Jyoti, and for Brisha, and for Brenda as Niti stand-in, all of us. It has been such a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're calling in from. And I wanted to say, Faye, to you, I just absolutely love your name affirmation. And one thing for me that the color gold has been my favorite color since the moment I read The Outsiders and Johnny told Ponyboy to stay gold, to remember that youth inside of you, right? To remember how we grow in this cyclical nature that you brought through, right? The seed, we are the seed and the perennial continuance of our own soul's exploration on this planet, right? And as I remembered my periodic table, gold comes with the two letters AU. And if you say that out loud, it's awe. And isn't gold and awe and love all in the same, right? So Faye, thanks. I'm about to take off with that little awe somewhere. So thank you all for joining us today. February, this does conclude 2020 for us, and we're excited to jump into 2021 with our partnership for a safe and sacred now. And I want to give you a little tiny bit of backup before we go into sharing with all of our others. There's a lot of anti-violence work going on in the world, and around women, girls, and the safety of children. And violence is nothing that I'm ever going to want to work for or towards. And in the energetic work that I do as a healer, only brings in exactly what I'm trying to be anti-against. And so when we work against violence, when we work for the ending of violence against women, it's a beautiful intent. And how do we take the negative out of it and ask for what we want? It's not what we don't want, which is the violence. What do we want? We would like to have partnership over domination, and we'd like to have safety and sacredness over dismissiveness and denigration. And so next year we'll be creating together, and anybody that wants to join us, please, this is a global creation. So we will be going into an exploration of a partnership for a safe and sacred now, because we don't want it, we want it yesterday, but we'd like to have it now. And Faye, I see your hand up. You need to.
Yeah, I just want to respond to that. I agree 110%. I just thought it was interesting that the affirmation Black Lives Matter was so triggering, but that's the reason why they chose it. And I see that more people are comfortable using anti-racism. But again, that goes back to fueling the thought of racism. So I just want to support that. And also, I heard that quote from Mother Teresa. She's on my vision board, that she would never be a part of anything anti. She was always pro. So I just wanted to thank you for reaffirming that. And I support that 110%. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's who taught it to me, Faye. So we're on the same planes. So great. So February 17th at 9 a.m. we'll be hosting our first PSSN offering for 2021. So that will be in our follow-up email. We will have everybody's link from the follow-up email, and everything that they've shared. I will put websites and